true crime. In today's episode, we're diving into the Maddie Soto story. Heartbreaking story. One that will definitely leave you a little emotional if you've been following this story. In the heart of Florida, a community grapples with the devastating loss of 13-year-old Madeline Maddie Soto, a young girl who went missing only to be found a few days later, revealing a chilling narrative of potential sexual abuse and a prime suspect with a disturbing past who's already been arrested but not in the murder of Maddie Soto. Join us as we delve into the haunting details of this tragic case, exploring the twisted connections between Stephan Sterns, the live-in boyfriend to her, the mom, and the mysterious circumstances surrounding Maddie's disappearance and subsequent discovery. Brace yourself for a journey through a community's grief, an ongoing investigation, and the shocking revelations that have left everyone searching for answers in the wake of Madeline Soto's harrowing fate. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. The tragic saga of Madeline Soto unfolded with a haunting complexity, casting a dark shadow over the community. The chilling discovery of her lifeless body in the dense woods near her last known location sent shockwaves through the town, marking the beginning of a harrowing tale that would leave an indelible mark on everyone involved. The narrative commenced on Monday, February 26, 2024, when Madeline was last seen near Town Loop Boulevard and Hunters Park Lane in Orlando, Florida. The day, initially ordinary, took an ominous turn as Madeline's mother, Jen Soto, initiated a desperate search upon realizing her daughter had not shown up for school. Little did she know the heart-wrenching journey that awaited her if she is not culpable in any of this, and we will definitely dive into that as well. The search teams from Osceola County Sheriff's Office embarked on a grim mission, unraveling a sequence of events that would leave the community in disbelief. It wasn't just a missing persons case. It was a tragedy that gripped the hearts of everyone touched by Madeline's presence. The grim discovery occurred on a somber Friday afternoon, March 1st, 2024, at 4:30 p.m. The lifeless body of 13-year-old Madeline Soto lay in the woods, dressed in the same clothes that she had last been seen in: a green sweatshirt, black shorts, and white Crocs. The community collectively held its breath as the news reverberated and the weight of the situation settled in. The question that lingers in the air was one of both anguish and suspicion. How much did Madeline's mother know, and what might she have hidden? The community, it grapples with these unsettling inquiries, adding a layer of complexity to an already tragic story. You see, during the investigation, that they're finding out so much more. You see, the details that unfolded, it painted a chilling picture of his potential involvement. That's right, the stepfather. You see, at least that's what Jen Soto referred to him as. You see, Stephan Sterns and Jen Soto, they have never been married. But in a news interview, Madeline's mom referred to Stephan as the dad, as the stepdad. And so during the investigation, Madeline's mother's boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, he emerges as the primary suspect in the murder. And the details that unfolded painted a chilling picture of his potential involvement in the young girl's death. Now, as we continue to find out more, he has not been charged with her murder at this time. Now, Stern's unsettling behavior became more evident in the surveillance footage that captured him discarding items in a dumpster. These items, later identified as Madeline's backpack and school-issued laptop, it added a macabre layer to the unfolding tragedy. The community watched in disbelief as Sterns, the man who had been the last to see Madeline alive, became entwined in the web of suspicion. The investigation took a dark turn when it was revealed that Madeline might have already been deceased during her last sighting. Now, Sterns, allegedly the last person to see her alive, faced accusations of moving her lifeless body in the early morning hours after killing her in Kissimmee. The community, it grapples with the horror of this timeline, piecing together the events that led to Madeline's untimely demise. In the aftermath of Sterns' arrest, disturbing footage emerged, capturing him in a tearful interview with local news just one day after Madeline's disappearance was reported. His emotional interview, it added another layer of complexity to an already convoluted narrative. As the investigation unfolded, law enforcement arrests Sterns on unrelated charges, including child PORN stuff and sexual battery. However, at that point, he had not been charged directly in connection with Madeline's murder. The community, they are upset about this. They do not understand he's implicated in the murder, but yet he has not faced any charges directly related to her death. That does not make sense. So it only bears to wonder, when will he be charged? Because they found some damaging evidence. And we're going to dive a little deeper into this as we're taking you down the bunny hole. And we're taking it, at the end of the day, it's easy to go down that rabbit hole and go deeper and deeper into this surreal moment. And, as we dive into this, we want everyone to be held accountable to what has happened here, because Stephan Sterns, and I truly believe the mom, knew more. We're going to dive into that a little deeper, but I truly believe she knows more. But you see, we find that there was some disturbing images that were found on his phone. Okay, along with attempts to delete evidence, which deepened the horror of an already tragic story. You see, he admitted to factory resetting on his phone on February 26, the same day that Maddie went missing. And the search for Madeline, which initially captivated the community, now became a symbol of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives, even in their own homes. A press conference that was held by the Orange County Sheriff's Office, they confirmed that their belief in Madeline's death, with Sheriff John Mina delivering the devastating news to Madeline's mother, Jen Soto, on that fateful Thursday night. But they didn't believe she was alive, and they would later prove so about 3.5 hours after this news conference, because they already knew something wasn't right. You see, the timeline of events from Madeline's joyous birthday celebration on February 25th to the heart-wrenching discovery of her lifeless body on March 1st. Now, her picture looks like it was a joyous birthday celebration, but something deeper was going on in her heart and in her mind and in her soul, because she knew something was going on to her that was not right. And I truly believe she either already started telling others or she was going to, and this is what led to some of what is going on right now. But you see, on Sunday, February 25th, that's when she celebrates her 13th birthday. She became a teenager that day. And then the very next day, she's driven to school by her mom's boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, who claims he dropped her off at a nearby church. Okay, then 4:30 rolls around and Madeline's mom, Jen Soto, she goes to pick up Maddie from Hunters Creek Middle School, only to find out that her daughter did not attend class that day. Notice it's 4:30 when she finds that out. No one is calling and letting them know it before that. Okay, then 3.5 hours later, the mom reports her missing. And the Orange County Sheriff's Office deputies, they meet mom at the school and they canvass the area and they search with bloodhound, but they find nothing of her scent around there. And so, to find out that he says he dropped her off only to never be seen again, that did not add up. Okay, now on Tuesday, the day after he allegedly dropped her off at school, that evening, 6:50 p.m., Madeline Soto's missing poster is released. Her mom is putting it out everywhere, asking for help. Later on that night, 10 p.m., Sterns, the eventual prime suspect, he appears in the background of a Fox 35 interview, and we'll show that here in a second, but I want to give you a quick timeline, okay? And then Wednesday, February 28th, 3:30, that's when the sheriff, John Mina, he hosts a press conference about the ongoing search. Later that night, Sterns is arrested on unrelated charges, but he is named the prime suspect in the case. And then Friday, March 1st, rolls around. Rest in peace, Maddie Soto. At 9:30 in the morning, Sterns is moved by police from Orange County to Osceola County. 1 p.m. later, investigators, Sheriff Mina, he announces that, investigators are now confident that she is dead. And then later on, at 4:30, 3.5 hours later, her body is found in the woods during a coordinated search in the area off of Hickory Tree Road. The community, once tightly knit, now found itself bound by grief and the shared experience of a tragedy that defied comprehension. There are no words that can express the horror of what could be going on to everyone's mind. Who could do this to such a wonderful person? Well, we find out so much more when it comes to this, okay? Surveillance footage, it literally shows the crucial element in the investigation, played out like a chilling documentary, capturing Sterns' every move. You see, Stephan Sterns, the prime suspect in the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto, was thrust into the spotlight as the community thrust into this. They tried to understand what is going on. And so they tried to make sense of this, but there is no making sense. And so his ominous presence in the background of this interview video became a haunting image etched into the minds of those that were following the case. Okay, because truth is, no one understood who this creepy dude in the back was doing. What was he doing back there? Well, he would later give an interview. And so when this interview comes up, it's like, okay, he is acting a little odd. But Sterns, The boyfriend of Madeline's mother, Jen Soto, had been the last person to see the middle schooler alive before she disappeared. And so his inexplicable presence in the background of an interview, it did not make sense. And so that's why it's like, what was he doing in the background of this whole thing? Right? What was he doing? Was he trying to scare her or something along those lines? You know, what was he doing in the background? Okay? Because here he is in the background, right? So what was he doing back there? But his presence there didn't make sense in this interview with Madeline's mother. His tearful admissions, the disturbing evidence found on his phone, it all added layers to a story that seemed almost too grim to be real. But you see, her absence of, at school that day, it set off a chain of events that would culminate in a tragic and bewildering tale. You see, the discovery of her lifeless body in the woods of Osceola County, Florida, it sent shockwaves. And now, 4 days after she was reported missing the once ordinary town, now it became a backdrop for an unfolding tragedy that would capture the attention of the nation. And so then you had the arrest of this crazy dude, and it add even more like, what was going on in the home? Because the affidavit, it showed the chilling side to this. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. When my wife told me about some of the stuff that was in this affidavit, that's when I was like, I need to do a story on this, because this girl deserves justice, and everyone needs to get behind and make sure that here's the sad part, this is going to happen again. It's tragic. This man did this, and it's said that he's done this for 2 years. You're going to tell me that her mother didn't know? My friends, you got to tell me there's more people. Come on. More people knew what was going on to this little girl, and how many people spoke up? You have to step up, speak out to end child abuse, because this girl should have been rescued a lot sooner. Something was going on. When I dove into this affidavit, it's chilling, to say the least. It's chilling. And that's why it's easy to go down a rabbit hole. And I have my little rabbit that I'm going to be bringing on the screen, because it's easy to go down a little rabbit hole. Right now, I had another camera set up, but I don't know if you heard the audio coming through. And so Little Blue will be joining us right now. He's sleeping. So if he comes out, we'll bring him. But since it's easy to go down a rabbit hole, I thought I would bring Little Blue on with us as we go down this rabbit hole together. Because truth is, there's a lot to this story. And her story needs to be heard. Because at the end of the day, we want this to be prevented from happening to more children. Let me tell you, that mom did not protect her. The mom knew something. And when we dive into this, let me share with you on this, okay? Because in this, this is the affidavit. I'm not going to read it. It is disturbing, to say the least. What this man had on his phone that they were able to trace back to her and trace back to him in her bedroom, in his place. Now, it has come to my attention that he was actually not living there at the moment. He went to live with his parents. Her birthday, that Sunday, he comes to the birthday party. Mom's not at the birthday party. She says she had to work. And so she is not at the birthday party at that time. She has to work. That's a different subject for a different video probably, which I won't really dive into that. But you can read the disturbing part. This is why, my friends, we cannot be quiet for these little ones. They are our future. And If this had not happened to her, she was going to have a long life of getting over what happened to her. And if they were separated, did this have anything to do with why they were separated? It's hard for me to believe mom didn't know something. And we're going to dive into that a little bit deeper in a minute. But it is hard for me to believe that she didn't know a little more than she is saying. But before his arrest, you had all of this where he's lingering in the background. It's like, and then you had the way she was speaking as well, like her interview. And that we may do a video on. But her interview, I found to have some flaws in the way everyone deals with their own tragic stuff their own way. So I don't want to get too crazy deep into that because people deal with it. But this is her interview. She does an interview, and I feel that my first take, I'll be honest with you. My first take was she is shaking so much because she is nervous. She can't believe that this has happened. Her daughter is missing. That was my first take until I started watching further in the video. A parrot in the background and her response apologizing. I mean, who the flip cares? And her smiling about it, that sent chills down my spine because I did not understand. That was one of my red flags, that this lady knows more than she is sharing. And that's one of the things that prompted me to even dive deeper into this and go down that rabbit hole with you and share what we're finding out. But the unsettling scene that unfolded as she spoke about her missing daughter, with Sterns moving in and out of the frame before taking a seat in the background. Now, this is a different video at that time, but we find out that she might have already been deceased during her last sighting, because they were said that she was seen inside his vehicle and propped up but not alive. Now, Sterns, again, the prime suspect and facing unrelated charges and still not charged in this yet. But those disturbing images, which if you read the affidavit, says the unthinkable. And then his fake crocodile, boy, he made that look real, in my opinion. When he was doing his video and he was sharing it, like, he made this look like a heart-wrenching interview. Tearfully shared his account of dropping Madeline off at school early that day. And he expressed deep concern for her well-being, grappling with the emotional turmoil of not knowing her whereabouts. And then as the investigation progressed, it was revealed that Madeline was believed to have never been dropped off at Hunters Creek Middle School on Monday morning, as he had alleged in this interview. Police, they allege that Sterns moved her lifeless body in those early mornings after killing her in Kissimmee. And so that's why it adds a whole complex to this whole situation. You see, because they knew after that extensive canvass of the area and interviews with the victim's family and friends, it was unusual for the victim to be dropped off down the street from the school and not stay in communication with family and friends. A lot of people said this wasn't like her. And so after they reviewed the contents of Stephan's phone, several images and videos were located which depicted the missing juvenile with her personal body parts. Personal. And some in crude manner. And then the focal point of those pictures and videos lead to darker images of him. You see, he had this on his phone. It's alleged to be of her. We didn't know that when he was first arrested. We would find that out when we see the affidavit. But it is alleged to be that it was her. So he was arrested for what was on his video, on the videos and phones of his that he had deleted and tried to reset his whole phone, thinking that was going to be it. Okay. And what they had was, it was showing the missing juvenile, again, her body parts, and including her mouth, being done by something that would be attached to him, if you get what I'm saying. And so, as such, the files that were in there, it showed that there was some sexual performance of a child, which is heartbreaking just to even speak on it. But her story needs to be told, and everyone involved needs to be held accountable. In this affidavit, it noted the body part of his, which was doing something to the victim, had distinct markings on it, which, they described in the affidavit, and that's how they were able to tie the clothes that were attached to it. And so there were several other pictures that were capturing the distinct pattern that were observed on the phone. And so as they were reviewing the pictures and videos, they saw that there were several different pieces of clothing, to include patterned underwear, shirts, blankets, and sheets. And so detectives of the Orange County Sheriff's Office, they executed a search warrant at Stephan's home address of 4012 Santa Maria Drive, number 107 in Kissimmee, Florida. And the address is also where the victim and her mother lived. The mother that did not protect the daughter. I truly believe she needs to be held accountable in a large way. I truly believe that. And you, please let me know your thoughts in that. Do you think she should be held accountable? Because something happened to her daughter, and something was happening for 2 years. I think it's important that to me, I'll be completely forthcoming with you as someone who experienced the ugliness as a child. I can tell you that I feel like my mother should have protected us more. I honestly believe that. Rest in peace to my mom. I know that she had her own world of problems. She didn't let someone kill us. I don't know how to. At the end of the day, it is up to everyone involved to help protect these young children, because truth is, it's not done. It's going to continue to happen, because this is the crazy world we live in, which is why I do these videos, because I want to bring to light to you, this is the world we live in. We have to step up, speak out to end child abuse. If we just stay silent, guess what continues to happen to the next child and the next child? And truth is, it's been happening since the beginning of time. So that's why I truly believe it's never going to stop happening. Where I feel we can take a step is actually taking a step when we see something wrong. The sooner we can help end it for that child, the quicker they can start the healing process. The longer it goes on for that child, the harder it will be for the healing process. I'm not a psychologist. I don't want to try to act like one. I'm a caring individual that really believes that children should be protected, and everyone should be held accountable. But anyway, I digress. But that is my whole point, because she deserves justice. She did not deserve this. And when they go over to the residence where they were living with him, that's when they're find they found the same distinctive clothing both in Stephan's room and the victim's room. And so they knew Stephan committed a sexual battery, even through family and custodial authority on little Maddie Soto. And now the justice system has to do their part because there's still a lot to go, and this cannot just die out. And that mom, I truly believe, knows something because she's the one that said that Stephan went to drop him off, went to drop her off. I went to pick her up. She also had discrepancies in her stories. She said, I hadn't seen her, but then she tells detectives, I did see her at 8 in the morning. So she's, first saying I didn't see her, last time I saw her was the night before. Second saying I saw her in the morning. Okay, that alone is a red flag. And why would he need to drop her off a block away and give some foo-foo story? He was full of crap. Okay, that is what I truly believe. And to find out, he at one time worked at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney World, whatever's down in Florida, or Disneyland, I think. I forget. One's in California, one's in Florida. Whatever's in Florida, Disneyland. I think it is Disneyland. To find out that he actually worked there with kids. This guy, he has had some hiccups. And now he's off the streets. And let's make sure he never does this again. Now, granted, it is alleged. What is not alleged is what they found on his phone that they were able to tie to him. That's called crucial piece of evidence. My friends, it is stories like this that tell me these people need to do more for these children, and that's why I want to bring this story to light. Maddie Soto deserves justice, and now we work on getting justice for Maddie Soto. Rest in peace, Maddie Soto. My friends, be safe, be alert, be careful. It is a crazy world we live in. Until next time, be safe.